This is a full story. Puppy wishes you all a happy and enjoyable story. My boyfriend texted me saying he wanted to break up. I quickly replied with 5 words, asterisk, so, you found out? Asterisk. Then I blocked and deleted him, swift and decisive. Men can be replaced. I refuse to lose. When Tony messaged me, I was working on a project plan. Seeing the words in the chat box made my eyes sting. We had been in a cold war for days because of his close friend Serena. Honestly, I'd already sensed it, his love was fading. I just didn't want to believe it. When we first got together, any gift I gave him made him so happy. But this year, I gave him a 4090 white Vulcan graphics card, and all he said, casually, was, I don't like it. Don't like it? I'll return it. After all, it wasn't cheap. I clicked on the return request, and the customer service responded quickly. Dear, may I know why the product is unsatisfactory? I replied, my boyfriend doesn't like it. After 2 seconds of silence, they responded with, he doesn't like you. What the since when are customer service reps so brutally honest? After replying to Tony, I leaned back and stared at the ceiling for a while. Then, I got back to work. As a working adult, I don't have time to wallow in heartbreak. It was Saturday, and I had plans to go clubbing with friends that evening, but now, I had lost all interest. Hey, I feel awful feverish, dizzy, I texted Peter. I thought I'd get some sympathy and cancel the plans. I did get sympathy, but the plans stayed on. Alright, take care of yourself. Don't take antibiotics, though, we're drinking tonight. My heart sank. Truly, Peter is the bestest sister I could ask for. With 1 minute left before the end of the workday, I had already packed my bag. But suddenly, a notification popped up in the group chat. I had a bad feeling. Don't leave yet. We need to have a project meeting. A string of I got it messages followed. I screenshotted it and sent it to Peter. I'm so fed up. What kind of stupid boss is this? As soon as I sent it, I realized something was wrong. The screenshot went to Peter, but my complaint went to the group chat. What now? My brain worked at lightning speed as my eyes landed on the bubble tea I'd ordered for lunch. They didn't include a straw with my order. I quickly followed up. My colleagues glanced over and gave me thumbs ups. Toward the end of the meeting, the boss took a jab at me. I've noticed some people constantly complain instead of solving problems. Carrying emotions into work is a big no-no in the workplace. Isn't that right, Haley?
Yeah.
Right. We work over 8 hours daily with no overtime pay, and holidays require makeup shifts. Am I not allowed to have emotions? Are you trying to buy my life with this pitiful salary? Absolutely, boss. Young people these days just can't stay calm. I replied with a sweet smile. Something wrong, Haley? You don't seem very enthusiastic tonight, Peter asked, dancing wildly to the music before glancing back at me. Broke up, I said, slouched on the sofa. What? She rushed over excitedly. Really broke up? I've always said he wasn't good enough for you. Come on, cheers to escaping the misery. Looking at her eager smile, I almost wanted to throw my drink at her. Oh, come on, stop dwelling on it. There's plenty of fish in the sea. Look at all the handsome guys around here, you could have your pick. She pulled me to my feet. Forget it. My heart is dead. Dead heart. No problem. Let me teach you this. You don't need a man in your heart, but you can't go without a man by your side. See that guy over there? She said, pointing. I followed her gaze, and my heart came alive again. He was tall with perfect proportions, wearing a slightly damp white shirt, thinly veiled with sweat that highlighted his sculpted physique. His chiseled features, deep black eyes, thick brows, straight nose, and impeccably shaped lips struck me like a lightning bolt. For the first time, I felt an attraction purely based on looks. Not bad, huh? Peter grinned proudly. Go for it. I hesitated, feeling intimidated by his aura of aloofness. Haley, don't tell me you're chickening out. Peter laughed. The fearless Haley, backing down? I rolled my eyes at her. If you're so confident, you go. Oh, please. You know I'm into soft boys. I can't handle someone like him. She handed me a drink. As the saying goes, Zhu Beiji needed wine to pursue Chang'e, and Wu Song couldn't fight a tiger without a drink. Come on, bottoms up. I downed the drink. Liquid courage, they say. I swayed gracefully as I walked up to him. With a deliberate stumble, I fell into his arms. Yes, I did it on purpose. At this angle, there was no way for him to escape. Sorry, it's so dark, I didn't see clearly, I murmured, lightly resting my hands on his shoulders. He cast me a fleeting glance, indifferent and casual. In that moment, I felt as though he could see right through me. Then, without a word, he shifted his gaze toward the dance floor, letting me remain in his arms as if it didn't matter. Suddenly, I felt a bit awkward and tried to pull away. But before I could, someone grabbed my hand. Haley, you're breaking up with me for him? I turned to find Tony, face full of rage, standing behind me. Breaking up for him? That almost made me laugh. This man had the audacity to flip the script. Straightening my back, I gave him a contemptuous glance, then turned to the man I'd just fallen on. What do you think? Should I break up with him? Seriously, does he not have eyes? Can't he see for himself? Tony stood before him, a full head shorter, and so skinny he looked like a scrawny chicken. If he wanted to humiliate himself, who was I to stop him? The veins on Tony's neck bulged as he lunged forward, reaching for the man's collar. I stepped in first and slapped him across the face. The sound was sharp, crisp, and oddly satisfying. You hit me? Tony stared in disbelief. So what if I did? My baby is taller, more handsome, better built, sweet, soft, and obedient. I'm not stupid enough to let you bully him. I crossed my arms, glaring at him. Haley, I didn't know you were this kind of person. His hands trembled slightly. Then what about all our promises and vows? They're just idioms, I said, blinking innocently. He was speechless, his fury etched on his face. Enough, Tony, stop pretending. Aren't you tired? Should I invite your dear friend Serena over to join us? She was always there whenever we met, after all. Haley, there's nothing going on between us. I only said I wanted to break up to scare you. I never really wanted to end things, he hurriedly explained. Oh, so you just wanted me to give in? Let me guess, this brilliant idea came from your dear Serena? Too bad for you, I don't respond to threats. If there's one thing the world doesn't lack, it's men. Haley, aren't you leaving? Can't you see my baby is already jealous and upset? I turned swiftly and kissed the man behind me on the cheek. Tony's eyes turned red with anger. He glared at us one last time before storming off in defeat. The moment he disappeared from sight, I exhaled deeply. Jealous and upset, sweet and soft, warm breath brushed against my ear. A tingling sensation coursed through me as I realized just how close we were. The thin fabric of summer clothes only amplified the physical contact, and his low voice made everything feel more intense. My face felt like it was on fire. I had only wanted to provoke Tony, speaking without thinking. Surely, no guy likes being called soft. I was just talking nonsense earlier. You're not soft, you're very strong. Very strong. The words felt wrong the moment they left my mouth. The atmosphere grew even more awkward. Thanks for helping me out today. I should get going. I stepped back to put some distance between us, but he grabbed my collar and gently pulled me back into his arms. What's this? Burning the bridge after crossing it? I helped you. Don't you think you owe me something? I stared at his stunningly handsome face, now so close. Without thinking, I blurted out, you're right. What do you want? Should I, offer myself to you? Okay. What? The music was loud. I thought I misheard him. I said, offering yourself sounds good, he replied, his eyes unreadable. Who's that with young Master Rocky? Never seen her before. And on such an important occasion, how is his date not Alice? Shh. Don't you see how green Alice's face is right now? Standing in the center of the banquet hall, wearing an expensive gown and holding Rocky's arm. I sighed internally. If I'd known this was what offering myself meant, I wouldn't have made that joke. Now, I was nothing more than a walking target. I'd wanted a gorgeous fling, but somehow ended up with a wealthy heir. Tell me, is your family rich? I whispered, tiptoeing closer to him. Yes. Don't worry, it's all yours now. He smiled gently as he turned to me. Rocky, aren't you going to introduce us? A soft, sweet voice came from beside us as a woman approached. Haley, my girlfriend, Rocky said casually. A flash of resentment crossed her eyes, but she quickly hid it. Nice to meet you, Haley. I'm Alice, Rocky's fiancé. Fiancé? I glanced at Rocky. Was he playing for keeps now? Hello, sis, I said warmly, extending my hand. Rocky never mentioned you before. Alice's expression faltered. She hadn't expected me to be so fake. Rocky's always been reserved. He wouldn't discuss family matters with outsiders, she said, her nails digging into her palms. Is that so? I leaned into Rocky's arm with a smile. Then why are you so clingy? If I don't reply to your messages, you call non-stop. Rocky affectionately tapped my nose. Of course, it's because I like you. Besides, I didn't even know I had a fiancé. Rocky, you're too much. Alice's lips trembled with fury. Too much? Rocky stroked my fingers absent-mindedly. That childhood joke between families? Alice, don't take it seriously. But I've loved you since we were kids. I gave up studying abroad, my dreams, even my pride for you. What more do you want? Alice, I told you from the start, I don't like you. You don't need to sacrifice anything for me, Rocky said calmly. I couldn't help but sigh inwardly. What year is it? Who still goes for this kind of pure, self-sacrificing act? If you like someone, just go for it. Why make things so complicated? Is it because of her? What does she have that I don't? I rolled my eyes internally. Girl, if he doesn't like you, he just doesn't. If he did, he'd string you along even with a girlfriend. Sis, there are plenty of men in the world. Someone as amazing and obedient as Rocky is rare, but you can always settle for second best. I said this sweetly, almost saccharinely. Haley, shut up. Her voice turned sharp with anger. Rocky, she's being mean to me. You've never even raised your voice at me, I said, pretending to wipe my eyes. Enough, Alice. Haley is kind and genuine. She's trying to give you advice. Don't take advantage of her kindness, Rocky said, gently pulling me into his arms. Alice. Me? Well played. Perfect teamwork. I'm not giving up. I refuse to believe Aunt Lou will approve of you too, Alice declared before storming off. Aunt Lou? Rocky's mother? I watched her retreating figure and fell into thought. You acted well, came Rocky's low, pleasant voice by my ear. Do I get a bonus, director? I turned to him. Our eyes met, and I couldn't help but mentally swoon again. This face, it's just unfair. He opened his mouth to speak, but I interrupted him. I'm okay with being paid in kind. His gaze lingered on my face for a moment, and my heart raced with excitement. You wish. Stingy, I muttered under my breath. Let's go. Time to meet my parents, he said, taking my hand. Meet his parents? He only said to attend the banquet. He didn't mention his parents would be here. I felt a little flustered as he turned his head, the corners of his lips curling up. Mom, happy birthday. This is my girlfriend, Haley. I was stunned for just a couple of seconds before the hand on my waist tightened slightly. Hello, Auntie. I didn't know today was your birthday and didn't prepare a gift. I'm really sorry. I smiled as gracefully as possible. Seeing you is the best birthday gift I could ask for. She winked at Rocky. Thank you, Auntie. Happy birthday, I said shyly. The woman in front of me had a warm smile, gentle eyes, and spoke in a way that felt like a soft spring breeze. Based on Alice's earlier tone, I thought Rocky's mother would be terrifying, but now it seems. Isn't she just an adorable, elegant, and lovely auntie? I really want to give her a hug. Pretty girl, coming here today didn't delay any good deeds, did it? She smiled at me. Pretty girl, good deeds? What's this about? I noticed the amusement in her eyes, and suddenly a memory popped into my head. No wonder I found her a bit familiar the first time I saw her. How embarrassing. My face flushed instantly. Last weekend, I went shopping with a friend. She wanted coffee, so she dragged me to line up at a popular cafe. The queue was long, and we moved forward at a snail's pace. But someone just had to break the rules. Pretending to make a phone call, a man cut in front of an auntie ahead of us. The auntie, elegantly dressed and dignified, tried reasoning with him, but it didn't work. She looked like she was about to cry. I can't stand to see a lovely auntie being bullied. Hey, long time no see, I greeted enthusiastically as I walked up to the guy. He turned around, confused. Do I know you? You don't, but I saw you cutting the line, I shouted loudly. He got angry. Who the hell are you? Did I cut in front of you? The sun rises in the east, the rain falls in the west, and I'm the gorgeous woman who hates line cutters. No manners, no shame. Are you in such a rush to reincarnate? Is the underworld waiting for you? I snapped back, unleashing a tirade. People around us started watching and chiming in agreement. Realizing he couldn't save face, he muttered, "You'll pay for this," and slunk away. The auntie held my hand, thanking me profusely, and even treated us to 2 coffees. I thought it was just a little act of kindness, but who would have thought? She's Rocky's mom? Auntie, please don't tease me, I said, feeling bashful. I'm not teasing you. I'm just happy that you're Rocky's girlfriend. Rocky is so lucky to have a wonderful girl like you. She held my hand tightly. I glanced at Rocky. No, I'm the lucky one. With his face, he could scam me out of all my money, and I'd still think it's worth it. But his mom didn't even ask me anything before accepting me? I guess the saying is true. Do good deeds without worrying about the outcome. Happy birthday, Auntie. This is the gift I prepared for you, Alice said sweetly as she walked over. Thank you, Alice. The butler behind Rocky's mom accepted the gift. Auntie, how do you keep yourself so well? You look younger every year. Your complexion is even better than mine. Alice hooked her arm around Rocky's mom's and shot me a smug glance. Her triumphant expression was almost comical. No matter how young I look, I can't compare to you girls. Oh, by the way, you haven't met Rocky's girlfriend yet, have you? Rocky's mom smiled warmly at me. Haley, this is Alice, the daughter of a close friend of mine. Pretending it was my first time meeting her, I extended my hand. Hello, I'm Haley, Rocky's girlfriend. Alice's face immediately turned pale. Auntie, Do you even know what she does? How could someone like her step into the Chu family? She's just Alice. Rocky's mom interrupted her. Our family has only one standard for a daughter-in-law. As long as Rocky likes her. Auntie. Alice's mouth opened, tears welling in her eyes. Mom, the banquet is about to start. Let me help you get ready. Rocky shot Alice a warning glance. Not heeding advice from a beauty really does lead to suffering. I already told her not to waste time clinging to Rocky. I sighed for her in my heart. Loving someone too deeply is exhausting. Why not be bold and love 5, 6, or even 7 people instead? After the birthday banquet, Rocky drove me home. Where do you live? Building 3, Unit 801, Yunmu Garden. He suddenly braked, pulling the car to a stop. How do you know my home address? I calculated it. Do you believe me? His eyes flickered. My mom told you, didn't she? Wrong. I leaned closer. It's our mom. Haley, do you really want me that much? His lips twitched. Haven't I made it obvious enough? I raised an eyebrow. You're like a book. The more I read, the more I want to sleep. In the dim car light, I started to feel intoxicated. But you seem like the type who could easily fall for someone else. His gaze grew darker. How so, baby? I reached out my hand. The tips of his ears turned slightly red. Let's go. I suppressed the excitement in my heart, but when we arrived, I was dumbfounded. Who in their right mind comes to a foot spa this late at night? Rocky. I turned, glaring at him. You don't usually wear high heels, do you? He casually glanced at my feet. Looking down, I noticed the red marks on the backs of my heels. So, you brought me here because you care about me, I said sweetly, leaning closer. Get out of the car. His Adam's apple bobbed slightly, his face expressionless as he turned off the ignition. I pouted. What a stubborn man. I followed behind Rocky, and as soon as we entered the hall, I spotted 2 familiar figures. Haley. Tony frowned as he called my name. What a coincidence, Haley. I was just persuading Tony not to act childish and to go find you, Serena said as she walked up to me, her eyes flicking toward Rocky. I gave her a cold look. Since you're so kind, why don't you take him for yourself? Haley, don't misunderstand. Tony and I are just like siblings. We've been friends since we were kids. If there were anything more, it would have happened long ago, Serena said, turning to Tony. Isn't that right, Tony? Tony took 2 steps toward me, his eyes fixed solely on Rocky. It doesn't matter. Honestly, I always thought you two were a good match. Best wishes to you both, I said, looping my arm through Rocky's and walking inside. Hmph. Talk about a toad playing with a frog, ugly and full of tricks, I muttered under my breath once we were in the room. A snicker came from behind me. What are you laughing at? Did you see Serena's gaze just now? If I hadn't been there, she would have plastered herself to you, I said, my irritation growing as I spoke. Rocky looked at me with amusement, bending down so we were at eye level. Relax. From start to finish, I didn't even look at her. The light cast long shadows from his lashes, and my heartbeat suddenly quickened. Even so, could you not stand so close to me? Aren't you the one who's been wanting me all along? Aren't you looking for compensation? His lips quirked up, and after a pause, he added, coward. Then he walked away lazily and flopped into a chair. I exhaled a long breath. I can talk a big game, but when it comes down to it, I really do lose my nerve. I have to admit, foot baths are incredibly soothing. The masseur's pressure was just right, and I drifted off in that gentle rhythm. When I woke up, the room was empty except for me. I rubbed my eyes and opened the door, intending to find Rocky. After walking a couple of steps, I spotted him, but he wasn't alone. Serena was there too. I really envy Haley. After breaking up with Tony, she still managed to find someone as outstanding as you, Serena said, her voice dripping with syrupy sweetness. Rocky had his back to me, so I couldn't see his expression. Serena was clearly trying to poach him. A part of me wanted to charge over immediately, but another part feared he might fall for her tricks. Seeing his silence, Serena leaned closer and continued, Haley really knows how to do makeup. She looks so stunning, unlike me, always barefaced. My nails dug into my palm. Her green tea theatrics were on another level. Yeah, exactly. So, peasant dog, take notes. Rocky cut her off, his voice laced with mockery as he extinguished his cigarette. What? Did I just hear him call her a peasant dog? I quickly covered my mouth, afraid I might burst out laughing. Rocky's words were so vicious. What now? I was just interested in him before, but now I've fallen in love. You, what's with your attitude? Serena snapped. Do you even know who my father is? Oh, your mom didn't tell you? Rocky's voice was low and magnetic. Look at me, my figure, my looks, my family background. What about me is worse than hers? Rocky let out a cold chuckle, turning to give her a once-over. You're not even on the same level as one of her toes. I'm warning you, don't be so ungrateful. Whatever I want, I'll get, Serena said fiercely. I couldn't help but worry for her. If only she knew she was talking to one of the capital's elites. Rocky waved his hand dismissively, his tone impatient. I suggest you start by getting some better toothpaste. Your breath stinks. Serena couldn't take it anymore and stomped off, disappearing down the hallway. Watching her retreating figure, I felt a rush of satisfaction. Come out, Rocky said, turning his head toward me. How did you know I was here? I asked, stepping out sheepishly. I just had a feeling, he said lazily, leaning against the wall. Oh. I stood next to him, head lowered. The light stretched our shadows long, intertwining them. So, where to next? I asked, trying to make conversation since he wasn't saying anything. Home, he replied flatly. For a moment, I panicked. Back at the orphanage, the caretaker had once said those same words to me. It was the first time I'd felt the warmth of a home, but I hadn't expected that warmth to disappear so quickly. What's wrong? Rocky was suddenly in front of me, his presence pulling me back to the moment. Emotion clashed with reason, and I grabbed his collar. He hesitated for a second before wrapping his arms around me. The next morning, I was awakened by the sound of running water in the bathroom. My waist was aching terribly. I hurriedly rolled out of bed, barefoot, and picked up my clothes. Hunched over, I tried to sneak downstairs. Are you planning to leave without taking responsibility? Rocky stepped out of the bathroom, his hair still dripping wet. Of course not. I was just heading to the downstairs bathroom, I said, my gaze darting everywhere but at him. He raised an eyebrow and stepped aside. Come in. I obediently walked past him. Haley, he leaned down, his voice husky in my ear. Being with me isn't a one-night thing. You were the one who came after me first. In the mirror, my face was still flushed. His eyes burned with unrestrained possessiveness and intensity. I get it. Now go out, I said, pushing him away and closing the bathroom door behind me. Too dangerous. Way too dangerous. In the afternoon, Peter asked me to go shopping. But even after walking until our legs were sore, she couldn't find anything she liked. Why are this summer's clothes all so ugly? She complained, sitting on a bench. Don't you already have a ton of clothes? I asked, rubbing my aching back. Every time I go on a date with Lao Tan, I've already worn each outfit once. She pulled out a compact and touched up her makeup. If you've worn all your clothes, then maybe get a new boyfriend and start over, I said, bored. At my words, she suddenly grabbed my hand. Haley, something's off with you. Spill it. Are you seeing someone new? Did that guy from the bar work out? I pretended to stay nonchalant. She screamed excitedly. Wow, Haley, you're so good at pretending like it's no big deal. Keep your voice down. I hurriedly hushed her. Come on, how did it happen? She asked, her enthusiasm barely contained. Well, just as I was about to answer, a cup of coffee splashed onto me. Who are you? What's your problem? Peter stood up angrily. I tried to wipe it off, but the brown stain stood out starkly on my white dress. Haley, you vixen, Alice said, standing in front of me, her eyes red as if she'd just been crying. I stood up and slapped her hard across the face. Miss Alice, this isn't how you deal with anger. You dare hit me? She asked, holding her face. Do you think that just because you're with Rocky now, you can rise above your station and become a phoenix? Let me tell you, Rocky is just toying with you. You'll never win his heart. Do you know Rocky had a girlfriend in college? She died when he loved her the most. After her death, he even wanted to die with her. Do you know why Rocky agreed to date you? It's because you look about 50% like her. In the end, you're just a stand-in. What's there to be proud of? Her voice was shrill, completely devoid of the elegance she'd had when I first met her. My heart sank, and my mind felt like it exploded. Peter stepped forward and stood in front of me. What are you barking about? Haley's just toying with him too. When she gets bored, she'll dump him. Who said relationships have to last forever? Too bad for some people. They can't even get to the toy stage and just end up sucking up to compete with other women. What does this have to do with you? You and Haley are both the same, low class. Before she could finish, I slapped her again on the other cheek. She could insult me, but not Peter. Alice, I don't feel like arguing with you, but think about it. Rocky would rather date me, a stand-in, than choose you. Just how terrible must you be? If we're talking about being low class, I'm still far ahead of you. As for me and Rocky, you don't need to worry about us. He's just my way to pass the time when I'm bored. It's not serious. So if you're trying to use his white moonlight to disgust me, don't bother. I was planning to leave after one night, but thanks to you, I didn't realize Rocky was so pitiful. I'll graciously keep him company for a few more days. I grabbed Peter's hand, waved at Alice, and walked out of the cafe. On the way back, Peter kept glancing at me, clearly wanting to speak but holding back. I'm fine, Peter. You don't have to worry, I said calmly. I knew I shouldn't have encouraged you to go to the bar that night. Men who are too good-looking are never good people, she fumed, pounding the steering wheel. Alright, didn't you tell me to keep men out of my heart but still around me? I've remembered your advice. If he's not in my heart, how could he possibly hurt me? I comforted her, and myself. For several days, I avoided Rocky. I didn't answer his calls or reply to his messages. A man with a white moonlight in his heart wasn't someone I wanted to touch. I didn't have the confidence to erase that lingering figure from his past. While my love life floundered, my career soared. The project I was responsible for achieved a significant milestone. My boss was so thrilled that he granted me a week off and even threw a celebration dinner for me that evening. By the time it ended, it was already 1 a.m. I took a taxi to the alley near my home. Unfortunately, 2 of the streetlights in the alley were out. I walked the short stretch with my heart pounding, convinced someone was following me. I used my phone as a mirror to check behind me, but there was no one there. Still, fear gripped me, and I took off running. The wind rushed past my ears, and I even lost one of my high heels. I crashed into someone's arms. Help, someone's robbing me. I screamed, struggling to break free. Haley, it's me, came a familiar voice, tinged with exasperation. Rocky, I looked up. What are you doing here? You're not answering my calls or texts. Why wouldn't I be here? Oh. I lowered my head, fiddling with my fingers. Haley, aren't you going to tell me why? He asked, taking my hand and walking forward. Alice told me you had a girlfriend in college, but she passed away. She said I look like her. He paused mid-step. So you think you're just a stand-in? She said you almost took your own life for her. When I first saw you, I was surprised by your resemblance to her. But being with you isn't about her. You're Haley, the one and only Haley, and not anyone's stand-in. Rocky, I'm glad to hear you say that, but I think we need some time apart to think things over. I avoided his gaze. This really bothers you? His voice was low, and his grip on my hand tightened. Yes. Before things go too deep, we should objectively consider where this is heading. Besides, you don't really know me. Alright, I understand. Go inside, Rocky said, releasing my hand. His emotions were plain to see. I took a deep breath and stepped into the elevator. This damn man, how could he be so calm? That night, I tossed and turned, unable to sleep. The next morning, I arrived at work to incredible news. The company had introduced new policies. Working hours were strictly 9 to 6, with no overtime unless there was an emergency. Weekday overtime would be paid at 15 times the hourly rate, weekend overtime at double, and holiday overtime at triple. Mandatory 2-day weekends were implemented, with no more compensatory time off. A colleague hugged me, twirling me around. Haley, did you bless us or something? You were just complaining about these inhumane policies recently, and now they've changed. You're our lucky charm. I was stunned by their words, wondering if the boss had suddenly grown a conscience. But the strangest part? All the office snacks had been replaced with my favorites. When I got home after work, the alley lights were all repaired. I wasn't naive enough to believe this was all coincidence, but I still couldn't help wanting to test his feelings for me. It's been a week, and Rocky hasn't come looking for me. Maybe he's calmed down. That's good, better than leaving a mess after a burst of passion. I sat alone in a bar to pass the time. The same seat as before. The beat of the music reached its peak, and money rained down from above, scattering everywhere. Such dazzling wealth. I lounged lazily in the booth. This place wasn't somewhere I could afford to come often. Occasionally, a few rich young men approached to strike up a conversation, but I politely turned them all down. Hey, miss, are you alone? A clean-cut young man walked up to me. Have you graduated yet? I don't play with students, I said, lifting my eyes slightly. I just wanted to buy you a drink, he said, starting to sit down next to me. But before he could land, someone grabbed him and pulled him back up. You can't afford this drink, Rocky said coldly, his face tinged with jealousy. Miss, who's he? The guy asked me with a smile, unfazed. Your brother-in-law, Rocky said, releasing him and dropping into the seat beside me. The guy's gaze flitted between the two of us. Brother-in-law? Seems more like the kind she wouldn't admit to. Scram, Rocky ordered sternly. Miss, he's so mean. I'll leave for now, but don't forget me. I've already taken a number and joined the queue. He blew me a kiss and disappeared into the dance floor. See? You scared the kid off, I chuckled, taking a sip of my drink. He deserved it, Rocky muttered, looking sullen. I glanced at him and said nothing more. Haley, I've missed you, he said, his deep eyes filled with warmth. You said I don't understand you, so I went to the city where you grew up. I walked through your elementary school, middle school, high school, and college. I know that while you seem optimistic and cheerful on the surface, you're actually cold and distant inside. I know your voice drops an octave when you're unhappy. I know you like to kick pebbles on the roadside when you're waiting for someone. I know you bite your lip when you're nervous. And I know that right now, you're uneasy and conflicted. You don't want to trust me. You don't want to let yourself fall. But I'm willing to let you push me away over and over again. You can test me all you want. You don't have to be afraid. I'll always be here for you. Rocky, you're so annoying, I said, holding back the tears welling in my eyes. The sting in my nose rushed to my brain. I know, he said, but even if you hate me, I don't want to leave you. Back then, I did have a love that burned bright, and I thought she was the star of my life. When she left, I lost my will to stay in this world. But then you came. You're like the sun. Your courage to love and hate, your humor, your sensitivity, your vulnerability. I see it all. And I want to stay in this world and live well with you. Can you promise me one thing? I asked. He lowered his head, thinking for a moment, then pulled out a pair of gold-rimmed glasses from behind him. My eyes lit up. How did you know I was going to say that? That night, you talked in your sleep. I listened carefully, he said. Then put on those glasses and say everything you just said again, I said, my toes curling with excitement against the floor. Amusement flickered in his eyes as he put on the glasses, his slender fingers adjusting them. Leaning in, he gripped my neck and said, from now on, no ignoring me, no drinking with other men. Thank goodness for the dim lighting of the bar. It was so embarrassing, but I loved it. I was about to nod when he grabbed my chin and kissed me. I closed my eyes. The end. If you like Puppy's story, please follow and like it. Updated every morning at 9 a.m.